Hi, welcome to my channel. At the first video, we talked about technical details of Flutter and React Native. So in this video, we will be talking about the pros and cons of Flutter and React Native. And I will tell what is my winner choice. So let's start with the pros and cons of Flutter and React Native. First, we will be talking about what makes Flutter better. As as I mentioned, Flutter renders everything on the screen. So basically, it is using SCA engine to render every component, every widget on the screen. So this is, this ability becomes important when we want to have exactly same outcome, rendering outcome, because if we want to see something drawn exactly same on the Android and on iOS side, at that point Flutter is a little bit ahead of the React Native because it is in the control of rendering. So this is a plus for Flutter. Both React Native and Flutter has a single thread execution engine. So React Native has JavaScript engine, Flutter has a Dart engine. But the key difference between JavaScript engine and Flutter engine is a little bit static type language, which means Dart engine is developed in static type language mindset. So which gives Dart execution engine a little bit more optimized performance comparing to JavaScript, because at the JavaScript world we tend to create, because it is very dynamic, we tend to have a little bit not very optimized code. So at this point Flutter is a little bit ahead of JavaScript, but this doesn't mean that JavaScript is bad. I'm talking about technical comparison. So Flutter is a little bit ahead of the race when we talk about this. But of course, on the JavaScript side, by using TypeScript, we eliminate this type problem, because TypeScript is forcing us to use types and static types. So it is helping your engine to have a more optimized code. Also, Flutter doesn't have a JSON-based bridge, as at the React Native side, there's a bridge which is communicating by using JSON string. At the Flutter side, there is no JSON bridge. So this is a good thing for Flutter, because Flutter communicate directly with the native and Dart side. So this is a good thing for Flutter. Of course, for React Native, this will change. The JSON bridge will change in 2021, hopefully, and I will get to that detail. And now we can continue with what makes React Native better. So the good side of React Native is creating a web-like environment, because it is really helping developers to jump into jump into React Native and start creating an app very quickly, because any web developer can create a mobile application if they know JavaScript and React. So it is very helpful thing to start producing. So because of using JavaScript, React Native apps have because of using JavaScript, React Native benefits from the npm libraries, because there is a huge database of npm libraries. So we can access almost any JavaScript library from npm to use inside our React Native. This is a very good thing, because when we want to have a solution, we possibly have a library for that. So this is a really good thing for React Native, and also because anything which is solving a web-based application and Node.js application, it is all helping to React Native. So this is also a good site, a good good thing for React Native. And also because because of the React Native is a web-like development environment, right? So because of that, we have HTML-like JS6 syntax. So it is also helping us to create UI easier compared when we compare to Flutter, because Flutter is a little bit more hard to develop by pure development. So it is when you get to use it, when you develop a lot of Flutter application, then you get to use that complexity. But when for a novice person, it is really helping to have a JS6 framework, JS6 syntax framework. So this is a good thing for React Native. Also, I didn't write here. One good thing is using native components on the both platforms. So this is also good and bad. Good side is if you want to develop an application which needs to be platform dependent. I mean, if you want to have a platform native UX experience, then React Native is very helpful on that side, because it is using native components. So what are the cons for Flutter? The rendering everything is good for Flutter. Also, there is a side effect of that. What is that? Because Flutter is developed by Google, so Google owns Android. So Google aims to run Flutter especially for Android than iOS. So that means Google can promise that on any change on the Android side will be reflected on the Flutter side, but any change on iOS side may not be reflected on the Flutter when the change happens, because Flutter has to catch up with the changes of iOS platform. So that means, for example, it happened recently. There was a icon library change or something like that. I forgot. So Flutter at the first initial release of iOS 14, Flutter had to catch up with the changes with a new release. So there can be a time frame that Flutter needs to catch up with the changes, because it is emulating the components on the screen for iOS. Of course, for Android also, but because Google is developing for the Android, so they know what will change from Google. From Android team. So they are ready for the change and they are applying it. But on the iOS side, they may not be ready fully for the changes, because the iOS is developed by Apple. So there is a slight chance of missing features between the releases on the Flutter side. So it is hard to comment if it is good or bad. So the cons of Flutter is Dart is a static type language, and it is good for Flutter. It is a more optimized execution engine. But of course, that Dart language is a little bit technical, so it is really hard for many people to understand quickly, and maybe it is a little bit. It feels a little bit complex for most developers. But of course, if you get used to that Dart language, then it becomes natural. But it is when somebody starts working with JavaScript, uh, it is easier to use because there is no type type constraint. We can say let x equals 5, then we can say x equals a, for example, a string. But on the Flutter side, if we declare something integer, then it should be integer at the whole time. So this is a little bit confusing for, not confusing, but this is a technical detail. This is an engineering detail. So this becomes a burden for web developer mindset people. But of course, then people get used to developing that language, then this becomes in time this problem fades away. So this is cons of Flutter when we compare React Native. So what are the cons of React Native? As of 2021, the biggest cons is the bridge. This is the biggest problem because it is the mother of all the hell. This is the problem right now. So React Native is working on that, and hopefully it will be landed in 2021. But we cannot guarantee that. So things will change after that. But right now, because JavaScript side is sending commands over the bridge using JSON data, and native side is parsing that JSON. So this is a huge performance killer. So this is the biggest cons. So JavaScript, as I mentioned, JavaScript is easy to understand, easy to use at first, but it also have the problem of being dynamic, very dynamic, because it is easy to create unoptimized code by using JavaScript. So when we compare Dart execution engine, JavaScript has this downside. So this is a cons for React Native, but this is, in real world, this is not that big cons. But we personally, I need to tell what it is. So here, this is a problem. This is a slight problem. Because of the last cons for React Native is because React Native is using native operating system components, right? So time to time, not all time, these components don't match exactly. For example, if you want to hide something on the Android, then there is no equivalent function on the iOS side. This happens time to time, not all time, but this is disturbing. So when you want to, when you expect something to work on both platforms, then it is not working. Then you need to solve this problem by using some tricks. So, but everything has a solution, unless it is related to bridge. So the bridge is right now is a problem, but it will be resolved in 2021 hopefully. Let's jump into the my winner. Yeah, my winner. When we compare React Native and Flutter, technically, my winner is Flutter. This is very clear because Flutter has a lot of advantages, a lot of things are done better compared to React Native, but there's a key thing. As of 2021, Flutter is clear winner, but I will get into details. There will be some changes on the React Native side, which will make Flutter and React Native almost identical. But of course, Flutter will be a little bit ahead, but not not like right now technically. But and I compared them technically. There will be huge debate about that because some people will say React Native is better. Some people will say Flutter is better. This is natural because we are human, so we tend to love this or that. So this is okay. But when we compare them technically without a bias, Flutter is the winner. But in real world, there is no problem about when we develop with React Native or Flutter. We can create quality mobile applications with both platforms. And right now, as I mentioned, as of 2020, Flutter is ahead of React Native, right? But in 2021, hopefully in 2021, React Native will see fundamental changes. So the bridge will, there's a video for that. I will share also that. The bridge will be gone. So it will be similar to Flutter. It will be communicating, JavaScript side will be communicating with the native side directly. So this will be a huge change for the React Native. So it will help React Native to get a little more performance from the device. So at that point, when the change happens, Flutter and React Native will, Flutter will be a little bit ahead, but not like far ahead, or at that point it will be hard to choose a winner technically. So it will be hard to choose Flutter or React Native. It will be dependent on the person's choices or way of thinking. So you come to the end of this video. I hope it will be helpful for you to better understand Flutter and React Native. See you at the next videos. Bye.